Now, for a lot of you watchers say, oh, well, it's an anti-Clinton attack here. The fact of the matter is, I have no horse in this race, folks. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't do this show. Probably not a big fan of mine. So why would I mention this? Because it is disproportionate. The amount of coverage devoted to Donald Trump and his travails, fair, so be at it if that's what you want to do. But show at least half as much zeal going after some of these revelations. And when, in fact, we don't even see it close. By factor 10 to 1, the kind of coverage you're getting of Donald Trump versus the kind of coverage you're getting for Hillary Clinton. You don't have to be on the right or the left to realize something is wrong. All right, it's a point I want to bring up with Bill Richardson, the former Secretary of Energy and so much more, New Mexico governor et al. Has a resume that, well, it's very impressive. But, Governor, I do want to get your thoughts on that because, again, I do think that not among all Democrats, but among many, there's a belief that we won't get into WikiLeaks because it was the Russians and they got it out. But they are what they are. John Podesta saying nasty things about you is what it is. So isn't that fair game to get out if you're going to show the same amount of zeal to go after Donald Trump and his accusers?
Well, Neil, you know that some politicians are needy. You know, I've known you a long time. You're a good reporter. But you know what happens a lot is, you know, some members of the media, they like to suck up the politicians too, and they want access, and you know, there's this interchange. It comes out in emails. But you know, I know Podesta well. I've known him for 30 years. I didn't mind him saying that, you know, I was needy. It doesn't matter. It's just political talk. He was trying to get me and Hillary Clinton together.
To that. You didn't take offense to that.
No, I didn't. No, because Podesta achieved his goal. He was trying to get me and Secretary Clinton for her to call me. You know that they were mad at me for about 7 years because I endorsed President Obama. So, you know, so he achieved the objective, but he couldn't say to Hillary Clinton, well, you know, the great Richardson, you should call him. He had to have a little dig, so it doesn't matter.
I understand that. No, you know, Governor, I actually understand that, and I can empathize with that and all of that. I do think it could explain why many in the mainstream media aren't anxious to reveal or even cover much of these WikiLeaks, because it involves many of them and exchanges with many of them. And that's what my only point there. What do you think?
Well, it's getting a lot of coverage, Neil. I mean, you ought to see the tweets I get.
Not by nearly the ratio. Sir, I love you to death, but not by nearly the ratio we see this Donald Trump stuff. And I'm not against bringing up the Donald Trump stuff. I'm just saying, could we kind of get within the same football stadium of coverage? And it's not. It just is not.
Well, look, Neil, you know, I like your show. I like you. I mean, and I mean that. You're a good reporter. But, you know, at the same time, you guys have a very tough job, and you need access to these campaigns. So, you know, I'm not surprised.
Well, we're needy. Like you said, we're very needy. Right.
And you're like some of us politicians, but like Harwood is a good reporter. He's Wall Street Journal. He wanted to get an interview. Katie Couric is the same way. I mean, you can't cast judgment on people. Just, you know, emails are supposed to be private.
Governor, he's zinging his own colleague in an email and while sucking up to the campaign. I mean,
you know, everybody makes this Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks guy, a hero. You know, the guy is not a hero. He disclosed classified information. Now, you know, he's a darling of the right.
I'm just saying, let's call a spade, you know.
Well, I think both sides are getting critical coverage. That's the way I see it, Neil.